Week 0 is here, and the 2022 college football season is upon us. College fantasy football is starting again. Still a lot of work to be done at the CFF site. Week 0 content coming this week. I'm going to run down some of the details coming your way. There's a lot that we still have left to do. Preseason content and in-season projections. All of that's coming this week, guys. But this is the first of many announcements coming this week. We queued up the 4-in-1 Super Fantasy League last week. We've already got over 50 registered owners. We're looking to get 100 plus again for, I think it may be the 5th consecutive year that we'll be doing this 4-in-1. It started out as a 2-in-1, a 3-in-1, and now it is a 4-in-1 Super Fantasy League. For all you guys that are new out there that are looking to dip your toe in the water, this is a sink or swim league, very challenging league. So I'm going to give you the updates, run through it with you right here on this show, just to make sure that you understand all of the details. And I posted them on the site, but I'm going to run through them to give you screenshots of what is going down, because this is a very comprehensive league. Here's the deal. You build one lineup every week. That lineup gets applied to as many as 4 different leagues. And the point is to try to advance, to try to win all of the 4 formats, to do as well as possible and finish at the top, right? There's a total points league. There is a 2-halves tournament league that I'll get into that covers a tournament over the first half of the season and the second half of the college football season. There is a head-to-head tournament that's going to run all the way through the college football season. And then there's going to be the Eliminator, which was the 4th edition to the 4-in-1 Super Fantasy League. So I'm going to give it all to you, the details right here on this show. Try to be quick, but real quick, this is how it's going to work. You can only use one player, a single player, for a 1-week roster build only. So once when you use the player, he is gone for the year. You have to dip into the player pool. So you have to be strategic on when you use particular players based on their matchups. You use a player one time and he's gone. You use him in a lineup and he gets injured in the first minute, he's gone. You use him in a lineup and he doesn't play, he's gone. You use him one time in one weekly lineup, and that player is shot for the rest of the year. Your weekly lineup will include 5 quarterbacks from any FBS team, 5 running backs, 5 wide receiver / tight ends, and there will be 3 flex positions that you can choose out of a running back, wide receiver, and tight end. So a total of 18 roster spots you will build every week for 13 consecutive weeks. Same lineup applied to all 4 leagues. And of course, the way that this league started off, and I'm going to share my screen here with you guys so you can see where it all started off at. And we started off with here we go. This is the standings right here. As you can see over on the left, there's a ton of users already. I think we have, there it is, 54 out of 200 users have joined already on the league that is formed on Fantrax. The goal is to get that over 100. We've been over 150 at one time. It's basically $4 to get in, $1.25. $5 to get in. At $5 will be divided between the 4 leagues. $1.25 will go into each format pool, and the payout will be first and second place for each league. This one pretty self-explanatory. The player with the most points at the end of the 13 weeks will be the total points winner. But this is where things get a little interesting, and we're going to go into the other formats, guys, so bear with me because I want to be able to show you some screen grabs of those brackets here. Here we go. This is the 2-halves tournament. So what will happen as guys enter the league, a few days before the season starts, I will randomly insert teams into these brackets. There will be multiple matchups. As you can see in the 2021 bracket, there were 4 teams in the first round, and that bracket is pretty darn big, right? So we are going, the way that I have it set up is that tournament, the first half tournament, is going to run from week 1 all the way through week 6. You'll get that matchup. The first half champion will be determined after week 6. Then you go to week 7, right? This is the 2-halves tournament. What we'll do is we're going to take how many teams we're going to take the top 80 teams that are going to be in that total points, the top 80 scoring teams through week 6 will get seeded into the second half tournament. That second half tournament will play out from week 7 to 12. We will have a second half tournament champion. The first half champion, second half champion will meet in week 13 to determine the winner and who will be the runner-up in the 2-halves tournament. But that's not the only tournament. We've got a head-to-head tournament. After 3 weeks, we take the top 80 teams in the total point standings, and we seed them in this bracket. This bracket will play out over the course of 13 weeks, which is the college football season. We will get a 2-week semifinal, most points in that matchup over the course of 2 weeks. We'll go to the finals. Weeks 12 and 13 will be a 2-week championship. Again, same lineup applies from week 4 all the way to week 13. Same lineup applies to every league. Again, we don't stop there. We've got the eliminator. After week 4, we will place every team that has scored at least 250 points on the season. You will enter the eliminator. In week 5, the top 80 teams in week 5 will advance to week 6, and so forth and so on. Top 64 to top 48 to top 32. The eliminator, again, same lineup for every league. Total points league. You've got the 2-halves tournament league, the head-to-head league, and the eliminator. Same lineup, one roster build per week, applied to all 4 leagues, as long as you're in them, which the total points is going to run all year. You've got to keep going, though. Even if you have a bad 1 or 2 weeks in the beginning, keep grinding. You've got the other tournaments still to go. There's a lot of options in this. It's basically set up that you could have 1 or 2 bad weeks and still have a chance to win any number of these leagues. So, like I said, there's a lot of guys that have played this year after year after year. This is a league that if you want a challenge, this is the league for you, right? The 4-in-1 Super Fantasy League. I'm going to say this now because it happens every year. It's sort of a disclaimer, guys. Because you can only use 1 player in your roster per week, if you do not change your roster out before the next week begins, you will be locked from making changes. You have to reach out to me as soon as possible because you will not be able to make any roster changes. This is the one rule that some people forget. And they, when the Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday games come, Tuesday and Wednesday games come late in the year, they forget to clear their rosters on a Sunday. My one advice to everyone, after the game's on a Saturday, go in there on Sunday, go in there on Monday, clear your roster out so you don't get stuck. That is the one caveat to this league that really people have trouble with. You can't get stuck having the same player in multiple week lineups or you will get locked out. Some of you guys have learned that the hard way. Reach out. I will make sure that I send an email out, but I wanted to make sure that was in this video because it is the one issue that a handful of teams have year in and year out. But that's it. $5 to join. Not much. Let's get this pool as big as we can get it. $1.25 goes to each league. First and second place. I think it's divided 65-35. The league rules are on the website. You've got the total points tournament, 2-halves tournament, the head-to-head tournament, and the eliminator. 4 formats. 1 league. 1 lineup build per week. You use a player. They're done for the year. That's it. That's the 4-in-1 Super Fantasy League. If you're interested in playing, I'm going to try to put the link here attached to the video. It's over on the homepage of the site. Let's try to get this number well over 100. We're going to get it rocking and rolling. Many of you guys that haven't played this before, this is a chance to really get into something super fun and stay engaged week in and week out through the course of the 2022 college football season. And really, this will just supplement some of the other leagues, some of the other formats you're in. This is just different. get on in. We look forward to having you in the 4-in-1 Super Fantasy League hosted by the CFF site. Once again, my name's Joe DeSalvo. That's going to do it for the show. Be on the lookout. A lot of content announcements coming up this week. We're going to get some traditional in-house fantasy leagues created, different denominations on the buy-ins. We're going to announce the weekly content schedule. Week 0 projections should be out early this week. We're still going to be updating all of the preseason draft guide all the way probably through Friday for you guys that are still waiting to have your drafts at the last weekend before week 1 starts, because remember, some leagues do not actually use week 0. There's only a handful of games. Some of you guys do. We're trying to please both crowds, but that's going to do it. My name's Joe DeSalvo for the CFF site. Hope this helped explain the 4-in-1 Super Fantasy League. Got a lot of content coming this week. I'll talk to you soon.